Ashish, and today we will talk about stories and our dreams. So let's start with a quotation. That quotation has been said by famous filmmaker Michael Antonioni. So Antonioni said that cinema or art is tied with the truth, not the logic. In my opinion, truth is a children of science. Truth is a children of beautiful logics. When science protect a logic, when science endorse a logic, that logic become beautiful. So, in my opinion, Antonioni give us another type of another type of thought. That thought said, truth, cinema or any art is tied with the truth, not the mechanical logic. So, in your life, you also find a common thing that mechanical logic and truth always have a conflict. Mechanical logic always said that GDP is growing, so nation is progressing. But truth said that without the progress of maximum people, a nation cannot be progressed. So there is always a conflict between mechanical logic and truth. So I come to a story where we can find how beautiful is our stories, and in that story we will find that how we combat mechanical logics. A teenage girl was sleeping on his bed. She is she is facing severe illness, and she is reading books. I'm telling the story. She is reading books. Then her mom told her that. Then she told her mom that I'm totally tired to read these books. Then, after hearing these words of that girl, her mom told her, why don't you write something? Why don't you write a story? That teenager girl who is facing the illness, she laughed very loudly and said that that is not my cup of tea. I didn't write stories. My elder sister is a writer. She can write stories, but I didn't write stories. But her mom insisted that try it. You also can write a story. Then she write down a story. After that, she write down 4 and 5 stories. No one published that. After that, time passes away. That teenager now is a young lady, and he married to a doctor. After their marriage, the First World War broke. She take a job in various hospitals, treating the people who were suffered by the World War. After the end of World War, all the situation changed, and she find that a gross melancholy and the death mourning towards her. So, in that context, he writes down a novel. He sent that novel to three publishers, 3 renowned publishers. Both out of 3, both 2 publishers had rejected her novel. But one publisher gave her a chance, and from there we find a beautiful writer. Still today, she is our heartthrob. Yes, she is Agatha Christie. So this long story tells a thing that if you go through the logic of a mechanical logic, if you go through the path of mechanical logic, then you find nothing to do. But if you hear the mind, if you hear the real questions of life, if you hear the real thing of your own identity, then you can find beautiful things. Then you can write a story, and then you can do anything. So we need some beautiful things. But in today's politics, but in today's India, we are missing that wow factor. We are missing that beautiful factor. The beautiful factor of mind and truth. Once kid said that truth is beauty, beauty is truth. But in today's India, especially in Indian politics, we are missing that. Why we are missing that? Let's come to the point. as because if you go through the new education policy, you will find how mechanical logic is now dominating India. In India, merely a pittance of money is spent on education and health. After 74 years of Azadi, only 3% of GDP is only 3% of the GDP is allocated to our education system and health system. In that context, you have to find the new education policy. New education policy harms three factors. First is education is a common subject. In a federal state, what central and various states has some norms, they have some guidelines. Education comes in common factors. That is especially a state affairs. State will do do with education. State is liable to do with education. But the tragedy is NEP, the new education policy, breaks that. One India, one ration card, one education, in the name of one India, one ration card and one education policy, NEP encroach the boundary of state. That is the first point. Second point is, in that education policy, we find a rampant growth of what I say, technicalities. Yes, we need technique. Technology for mankind, that is the main thing. But in India, 70-60% people didn't have the access of 60% students didn't have the access of internet. They didn't have the access of electricity in various cases. They didn't have the access of smartphones. So how you make this type of education system where technicalities play the main role? That is a vast question. And second thing, with the technical knowledges and absent of philosophy, when you grab only the technical knowledge, that is Bertrand Russell, the famous philosopher and writer, said that when you only grab the technical logic without the philosophy, then you become a meaningless thing. You know very well computer, you know very well various things, but after knowing that, you are hacking a bank, a cooperative run by some peasants, run by some farmers, you are hacking that. Why? Because you have not acquired the philosophy behind this technique. So philosophy of education, what Swami Vivekananda said in this sphere, being and believing, that is hampered due to this NEP policy. And third is the most vital thing, that is in NEP we will find a thing, that is the logic of market. NEP is producing a logic of market, and this policy is inducing the market oriented economics education policy. In countries like India, I am not telling about Marxism, I am not telling about capitalism. In country like India, we need two things. First thing is, we have to be very honest about our growth. We have to nationalize educations. We have to nationalize all the health benefits. Health benefit and education should be free for all. But NEP didn't go in that path. So that NEP creates a mechanical logic, and that, in my opinion, that NEP harms our truth. Karl Marx said a beautiful things to understand the world. He said one thing, doubt everything. So we have to be very cautious about this new education policy, and we have to doubt everything, and we have to maintain beautiful questions. We have to ask questions about that. And doubting the nature and doubting the total scenario and creates the new ways. I'm telling a story about that new way. One day, Buddha, the great philosopher, Buddha is walking on the street. One person come across to him and he spitted on Buddha. Buddha didn't get angered. He doubted why that person spitted on me. After clearing his doubt, he get answer. He told to one of his follower, Ananda, that person was very much in anger. So he didn't know what to do. So he spitted. And she told to Ananda that person will come tomorrow. And that happened. The person who spitted on Buddha come to Buddha in next day and apologize to him that I do a grievous thing. Buddha understand, and Buddha told him that today you are also angry. So you are not expressing your real words. What you are wanting to express me, you are not expressing that. And Buddha told that is the main tragedy. The main tragedy of human being is man is born free but surrounded by chains. So what a man wants to express, he is not get the scope to express it. And from here, education policy matters. Education policy gives that space from where you can grow up, from where you can tell your own words, from where you can understand your own world. And I'm very much support the logic of socialist economy, because yes, there is numerous faults in socialism, especially in the practice of Russian Revolution. But one thing is great. The great thing is they want to divulge new ways. They want to hear the unfrozen voices of people. And that is the main thing. We have to now give a space to people to tell the things. We have to now give the space to people to express their own realities. And if a nation can express their own reality, they can challenge everything. Today I am hearing a beautiful story about New Zealand. What New Zealand now is doing, the Prime Minister of New Zealand said one thing, that we are a team of 50 lakh people, we can combat the corona, and New Zealand is New Zealand is now almost corona-free state. How it is possible? Because the government didn't encourage in the time of corona the logic of market. They took the Marxist way in a certain degree. They told all the businessmen that state will give you a certain money for your loss of business in the time of lockdown. And they also ensured that nobody will lost her or his job in that time. By doing these two things, New Zealand did a marvelous thing, and New Zealand is almost now a corona-free state. So what New Zealand want to speak, they are speaking, because they are not suppressed by anger, they are not suppressed by mechanical logics. So today we have to fight against all the mechanical logics. Today we have to tied with our destiny, with truth. Today we have to tied with our destiny, with truth. So we have to walk. We have to walk in the path of new webs. We have to walk in the path of new ideas. We have to walk the path of new socialism of 20th century. So friends, here I stop for today. But I say one thing, miles to go now before we sleep. And I also ask you to please subscribe my channel if you like this contents. Please subscribe the channel, because in this juncture I need your help. And not only my channel, in YouTube, where you find any voice that is radical, that is logical, and who is speaking truth, and who is searching the truth, please subscribe his or her channel. So, alvida, goodbye, good night. Have a nice day.